What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, you guys, and let's get into it. It is the 16th of July today, and here we are with about 9 hours, 21 minutes left in the day, sitting here at 118.4K. It's looking like we did not get that final push to the downside. It is still possible, and something to keep in mind, my friends. It is still very possible that Bitcoin could go down to about 114, 115K, somewhere in that area. It's still very, very possible that could happen. We have moved up. We have this nice little consolidation phase down here, and we've broken out of it to the upside. We're now back testing it for support. It's very possible that this is some kind of like wedge, and this could just be a blemish here, and we're breaking out of it now to the downside. It's very, very possible that this could be the commencement, the beginning of something that does in fact take us lower than this area here. We did not have a lot of volume on the way up, but in all fairness, you don't really need a lot of volume when you're retracing a move. You really just need volume whenever you're breaking out. And I mean, in all fairness, whenever we broke out of this range, that's whenever we did see more volume come in. So it's good enough, in my opinion. It doesn't have to go lower. And what we're doing now, especially finding support at prior resistance and prior support and prior resistance back here, it does make me wonder if we will go lower at all, and if we will not just bounce here. But again, keep in mind, if we are to go lower from a low to a high here, the expectation would be about 114.7K to 113.5K, somewhere in that area. We would find support there, and likely that would be that, and then we're on our way up again. If we're looking at this on the, let's look at this on the 15-minute time frame actually real quick. 15-minute time frame here, I feel like it's more noticeable. Come on now, give me that horizontal line right there. And let me make sure that we're not running that. Okay, cool. Finding support right there at this prior area of resistance kind of in this area closing where you found support before. You're also on the 15-minute RSI in the same area that you found support. I mean, if we just look at this every single time that you were down in this area, if we can do this, right, you found support here at this low, right at the same areas in the RSI. You found support even at these lows at this area in the RSI. Same thing here, here, here. All of these lows you found support at in this level in the RSI. What I will say is a little bit different is the amount of time that you're spending down here. Typically, whenever you get down here, you just kind of move up, right? Rather immediately, you move up. So different behavior could get different results. But if we move up rather immediately, like by the time most of you watch this video, if we're moving up, then perhaps this is a bounce nonetheless, and we're just looking like we're wiggling around right here, but we're probably going to move on up. Overall, the 15-minute time frame is bullish. It absolutely is bullish. It looks pretty good. You're getting volume coming in here while you're finding support at this low. It's like you're breaking out. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but let's see. It's like you're breaking out of this trend line here, but you're not breaking out. You're not going anywhere, right? Or maybe if you're not looking at it like that, maybe you're looking at it like this. However you slice it, whatever way, we broke out of this trend line, but we're not going anywhere. You got the volume, but we're not going anywhere, and at least not yet. You know, it's still fresh. We're like within an hour of quote unquote breaking out of this area, so it's very possible that we still could go lower. But I would think that we would have done it already personally. But if we do go lower, what would that look like? Let's see. How would we know that we're not finding support here and that we are going lower? I would say if we get a 1 hour time frame to close back below this level here, below about $118.1 thousand. If we close a 1 hour time frame or a higher time frame below there, that would validate, in my opinion, that we are in fact going lower. But how much lower are we going to go? You know, just because we're going lower doesn't necessarily mean we go to 114 to 115K, even a little bit below 114K. But it could mean at least that we would see some kind of retracement of this overall move here, come down, find a higher low, and then continue to move up. Maybe we find support where we found support before, and then we continue to move up. I don't know. Something like that could happen. If we're looking at this, let's see. Looking at this with the fibs on from a low to a high. Come on now, give me the high. Let's go. Come on. There we go. The golden ratio is down here. It's literally the golden ratio is right there where we found support before, and even where we found support here. So going down there wouldn't be a problem. Understand that going to like 117 to 116.8K would not entail that we go to 115 to 114K, but that would be a perfect area to bounce from if we were to go down there. I'm not saying that we do, but if we close below 118.00 or if we close below $118,088, 118.1K, if we close below there, I would assume that we do in fact go lower. But looking at this 1 hour time frame, 17 minutes left, it's looking rather convincing right now. This little chopsticks tweezer bottom right here, right? We've had a couple tweezer bottoms and tweezer tops here and there. Tweezer top, it didn't mark the exact top, but you did have a relative top right around there. Tweezer bottom right there, relative bottom, not the exact bottom, but relative bottom. Tweezer bottom here, tweezer top there. When you're at the top, you move down. When you're at the bottom, you moved up. You know, here we are at the bottom again, and we're just finding support at prior resistance. So, looking at the Bitcoin longs and shorts, there are definitely a lot of longs piled on. And if we were to go down about to 115K, that'd be $2.4 billion in longs that are liquidated. 120K, which is a little bit further away from where we are now than, I guess 120K is closer than 115K, wouldn't it be? That's only $1 billion, so half that kind of measure in liquidations. So there's a lot more money to be had to the downside is all I'm trying to say there. And that doesn't mean that we can't move up. You know, that just because there's more longs to the downside than there are shorts to the upside doesn't mean that we can't move up. We absolutely can still move up. There will be more shorts piled on, and we're actually very close to liquidating these shorts. So let's see here. Looking at this on the 1 hour RSI, it seems as though we're in a very bullish trajectory and we have some unfinished business to do. I would think that if this 1 hour time frame can close green, and I think it will, then this little blemish outside of this trend, it would actually be pointed upwards, not pointed downwards. So we might, with that, reject the overbought zone, come down here to the 60 area, and then find support. We would likely get into the overbought zone again on the 1 hour time frame. Let's look at the last 3 times that we got overbought. Right here, you got in and out, but still we'll measure it. Here, you got in right after that candle there. And then here you got overbought. We're going to count this all as kind of getting overbought, okay? I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't worry about it. We'll go over it. So here when you got overbought, it was in and out, but you did pump about 2% in 1 hour. So that was a massive $2,200 move in 1 hour. Then you consolidated, and that set the base for this next run up that you had, right? And maybe we're setting the base now for the next run up. You got overbought here, and well, you just that was awesome, right? 111K all the way up to about 119K, crazy stuff. Then once we got overbought here, it was a slow kind of sideways move, right? But inevitably led to more, right? Every single time, essentially getting overbought. It didn't lead to immediate price growth, except for this time, I suppose. But even then, after your immediate price growth, you had like hours in between where you did move sideways, and then finally you pumped. So I would think here, with that in mind, perhaps what we do is we move up to this area where we found resistance before, right? Where we found support before, this consolidation area. We'll probably ping pong between this area and that area, consolidate for some hours like we did here, and then get ready for the big move, which takes us to new all-time highs. That'd be my guess, okay? Because again, it's not just like a one-off kind of move. It tends to be, I mean, other than this one here, it's not really just a one-off move. But even if it is a one-off move, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go down. We just might consolidate for a longer amount of time. But getting overbought's a good thing. That's all I'm trying to say here, and it looks like we're trying to pull that off. That's my assumption there. Hold on, you guys. Let me look at this real quick. Yeah, 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame. It almost looks like it wanted to be a head and shoulders pattern, right? But it's not. It's absolutely not a head and shoulders. Understand, if anybody's calling this a head and shoulders pattern, they genuinely don't know what they're talking about. Yes, there's a peak. Yes, there's a left side and a right side, but it is not a head and shoulders pattern. The volume profile is all wrong. And I mean, if it was, like, it's not. It's just not a head and shoulders pattern. That shoulder's too high. That shoulder's too low. This guy's got elephantitis or something, because there's no way that that's a head and shoulders pattern, right? With that being said, now it can crash. now that I've said that. Let's see. What else do we got here? 4 hour RSI, also at an area that we found support before, right? That's a nice area to find support. You dropped down very fast. You've cooled way the hell off. Okay, you had lower lows in the RSI, but you also had lower lows in the price, and that's okay. All the way down where you were before when you cooled off, and each time that you were down here, I mean, here, it took you quite some time to move up. Here, when you're at this next low in the RSI, the same area that we just found support there, it took you some time, but then you actually did pump. Here, I would say it took you some time, but it's more gradual, less stagnant than this was here. But you're not being held down by your all-time highs over here, right? Like over here, you're held down by your all-time highs. Here, we're at our new all-time high areas. I don't know. Maybe we're just in a more bullish atmosphere right now. The volume is the only thing that I'm noticing, right? We have a drop off in volume as we're moving up, but I don't think that's a problem, right? I really don't think it's a problem until we start breaking out. I don't think it's a problem at all. Here, you know, you had a real drop off in volume. Here, you had a real drop off in volume. You still moved up afterwards. You had the volume come in once you broke out. Here, your volume dropped off and you started to get higher lows and you started building, and then finally, whenever you popped, you got above that high there. That's whenever you had more volume come in. Volume died off as you consolidated, and then boom, when you popped, it's really when you're breaking out that you want to see volume. So, or not that you want to, maybe you want to see volume every day. I don't know, but it's more ideal if you see volume during the breakout. So don't get hung up on this. Not financial advice. Not a financial advisor. There was a lot of volume to the downside. There's not a lot of volume to the upside. I get it, but that's kind of how it happens sometimes, right? Think about it this way, right? You had a bunch of long positions that were closing themselves as we were going down, right? A bunch of short positions opening up as we were going down, right? So it's a lot of volume there. And now as they're moving up, right, we don't really have all that volume coming in. People will start to pile in the longs as we get higher, as we break out. Longs pile on, shorts get liquidated, and then that's when the volume comes in. And then, of course, just spot investments as well. I would think that we are set to go to the overbought zone here. Once we get overbought, that should be when we're seeing new all-time highs. I mean, we should be seeing new all-time highs as we get overbought. And from here, from a high to a low, the expectation would be about 125 to 128K immediately, and if not deeper. We've actually seen a lot of deeper extensions. I mean, here if we look at this from a high to a low here, come on now, high to low. We stopped at the 1-2 or the 1-4-1-4 momentarily, went back to the 100, and then we continued. We ripped all the way up to the money zone. And if I'm being honest, I've noticed this money zone a lot. The 2886, 3113, it's been coming into play a lot over the past 8 days, 9 days now, however long it's been that we've been pumping. We also tipped the 4618, which I noticed, which is kind of crazy. We tipped it. We didn't tip the golden ratio. We didn't tip the golden ratio, the double golden ratio here, the 2618, but we did find support at it. You know, I'm just wondering if we do find resistance at the 5618 here, which this is deep extension territory, okay? I mean, that would be just above the 1414 here, right? Which is exactly what we did over here. We went just above the 1414 right there before continuing higher. I don't know. You know, 7618 all the way up here. These are deeper extensions. I don't normally leave those on, but hey, if we're respecting it, maybe it's worth keeping in mind. And we are respecting it. Look at that. 4618 down to the 2618. Very, very volatile, but still, even here you found support at the 3618. You see? Crazy. The 3618 is the purple one there. I don't know. It's kind of crazy. Serendipitous for sure. It's just interesting, though, that you didn't show any respect at the 1618. Normally, if you show respect at various golden ratio levels, you'll show respect at all of them, not just a nitpicky few. But again, these, as you get deeper, as you get above like the 300 levels, the threes, that's kind of outside the realms of normality. So the laws of physics that I have for the fibs might not necessarily apply. And we're looking good. We're looking good right now. I mean, those are some big wicks to the downside here. Nice recovery, good volume coming in for the 1 hour time frame. Not as much volume as we saw at the lows, but still, it is growing. You can see the volume is growing, and that's really what matters, right? It doesn't need to be as big; it just needs to grow as you grow. That in itself is important, and we are getting that. It might not be as big as this. You might be like, "What do you mean it's growing? It's decaying." No. From the time that we started moving up, it's actually growing, and you can see that. You can actually see it is growing as the price is growing. The thing is, you just don't need as much volume to go up. Why? Because all the sellers sold. There's less selling pressure, so a little bit of buying pressure goes a long ways. Where down here, there's people buying left and right, you know what I mean? Or making other kinds of plays left and right. Anyways, I digress. Daily time frame, looking very bullish, you guys. Here's where things start to get very exciting, okay? If today can close green, we got 9 hours left in the day, 118.9K, 119K almost right now. If today can close green, we'll be bouncing off the overbought zone. It's a powerful signal indeed, my friends. And I would expect that we would at least then get another day that closes above 120K, something like that, or a day that closes above 120K, a higher day to close, and perhaps form some bearish divergence where maybe then we find a little momentary top and go to 115 to 114K. I'm not necessarily expecting that Bitcoin just rips from here immediately. We could still consolidate by the end of this week. But if we are to rip from here, if we are to move up to higher prices, I would anticipate that we see some kind of daily close above, let's say like 121K. If we can get above 121K on a daily close, then maybe we do go up to 125 to 128K over the coming days. Maybe even by the end of this week, if not certainly early next week. It is Wednesday today, so I suppose, I mean, at the pace we've been growing, it is very possible that we could be at 125 or higher by the end of this week. But don't get your feelings hurt if we're just consolidating in this area. We've been very volatile in this area so far. We might continue to be volatile, you know, something like that, and then we can pump later. Cooling off the RSI is not a bad thing. If we look at this here, I mean, whenever we moved up before, you got overbought here. What'd you do? You moved sideways. Sure, you climbed, you saw higher highs, but you weren't really breaking out. That's what I mean. Sure, we might climb, we might even see higher highs, but if we're not closing above these certain areas, these key areas, then maybe we just move sideways for about a week or a week and a half here. Here we moved sideways as well, right? We got overbought again over here, and we moved sideways, and then we moved up. So I'm not saying that has to happen. I do anticipate that this move will be faster, and already is probably faster than our last move. But just because I'm saying that doesn't mean that it has to happen. 3-day time frame here, getting overbought in the RSI, looking great, looking fierce. 1 day, 10 hours left. That's a big wick to the downside, you guys. I would think that this promotes growth. I would think that this is definitely something that promotes growth over the weeks to come. Weekly time frame, getting in the overbought zone here. I mean, we know what this means, right? If the weekly RSI is in the overbought zone, you don't get in and out. That's a one-off. That doesn't happen. That's like the second time in Bitcoin's history that it's ever done that, right? You don't get in and out. You reside. You reside in there for a long time. And on this chart, it doesn't have all the history, so we can't actually visibly see the other time. But there's, I think, one other time in Bitcoin's history where it went in and out in the same day, or not same week, but within a 1 week period. I think that this means we have weeks and weeks of growth to come. Weeks of growth can still mean, right, if today, 4 days, 10 hours left, I would anticipate that we do close this week green, but we could still go down to 114K, 115K, and then come back up. Bitcoin's been very volatile. We could, close here, and then next week go down even lower than these lows, and then come back up. It doesn't, just because we're getting weeks of growth doesn't necessarily mean that it's back to back to back weeks that are seeing 9% or more growth. But I would expect between now and the late part of August that we're making strides higher to about 180K. 180K, 190K, 200K, whatever. Somewhere in that area, that's where I think we're going to go from a high to a low here. 1272. We're consolidating around this area. Man, I'll tell you what, guys. If we get above this 1272, 120, what is that? Let's be specific with this, actually. 121.7K. We get above there on a daily closing basis, there's very little doubt in my mind that we're going to do anything other than just move straight up to the golden ratio. Okay, we're not going to stop anywhere. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be crazy. Find a little volatility there maybe, and then going into August, we should be reaching up to our 180K levels, sometime at the end of August. This move's going to be very fast, you guys. It's going to be much faster than anything we've seen this cycle, and much larger too. Do not fade this move, and do not panic if we get a little shaky too at times, right? We're in new all-time high territory. We're definitely going to be growing day after day, week after week, even with the down days, right? It won't be a straight line up, but you'll look back in about a month and you'll be like, damn, that was fast. It's going to be very, very fast. But I got nothing else for you guys. I do want to look at the monthly time frame because we don't actually normally look at the monthly time frame. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Thank you all for being here. Let's look. Come on now. Let's see. Hold on. I just want to make sure that we're all good. We are all good. Okay. Let's move that up a little bit. Yeah, we'll move that up. Okay. Monthly time frame. Let's look at the all-time history for the monthly time frame. By the way, this is at 119.16K. This is going to be a little bit different. Oh, I didn't mean to put it on the Coinbase chart. Oh, I guess it's actually around the same as the Binance chart. Not always is it the same. It kind of fluctuates, but so we've gotten overbought on the monthly RSI too. Like the weekly RSI, when the monthly RSI gets overbought, typically, not but 3 times in Bitcoin's history have we gotten into the overbought zone and then out of it the next month, into it, out of it, into it, out of it. Typically, that's not what happens. Typically, when you get overbought in the monthly RSI, you go all the way up to the 90 and above. Some people might look at this and say, well, we've tried a couple times, we just haven't gotten there. Isn't that bearish? No, dude, this is very bullish. Okay, we've never seen this many in and out interactions with the RSI on a monthly scale. This is crazy. This is very bullish stuff. It's like a bull flag on a monthly scale. Now, bull flags on the RSI aren't as reliable. You're not going to go up to 105. You can't break 100, but I would anticipate that we probably come in line with this. That's my little daughter. With these highs here, we'll probably move on up. And will that be by the end of August that we're there? No, probably not. But I think by the end of the year in December, October, somewhere in that time frame, I think that we will be there. Personally, that's my expectation. Which just implies, again, month over month, we're going to be growing at a phenomenal rate. And as we get overbought, as we get deeper into that, we just see larger and larger readings, right? The stronger readings there are, the more bullish the move is, right? Here you're overbought, and that's cool. That was a fun move. But here you really got overbought. Look at how bullish that move was, how bullish that move was. Both of these times you get deep, you're moving up, you're getting overbought here, you're overbought here. Those moves are cute, but then the real move happens when you're getting above the 90, right? The real move happens when you're above the 90 every single time. So these moves have been cute this cycle. You've been I don't even know if the word taunted is proper. You've been misled by the power of Bitcoin. People think right now, understand, and this is where people are going to get it wrong, guys. This is where I think a lot of people are going to make the mistake of selling out early, okay? People think that this is how Bitcoin moves up, is that it moves up and then it consolidates for 6 months, and then it moves up and then it consolidates for 8 months, and then it moves up and then it consolidates for half a year, right? That's not what happens. Whenever Bitcoin's in its glory phase, when it's at the end of the cycle, we move up straight for 6 months. We move up, guys, look at this, okay? Just hear me out, okay? We go to here. The last 12 months were all green, except for 3. And even this month here, actually, if you look at the percentage, it says plus 3%. So that was actually a green month there. We just had a gap. It's red, but it's a green month. Trust when I tell you. I'm not making this up. So it's really 2 red months. The rest were green out of a whole year. We go to the next cycle, 12 months right here, 2 red months. The rest were green for the whole year. You hear me? When we're in that last phase of the bull market, that last year, it's glorious. 12 months last year of the whole bull market, and we had 3 red months. First time we had 3 red months. Here, I would say this is the end of the bull market here. You go to 12 months here, and out of that last year, 1, 2, 3 red months. And those red months are not significant at all. This last part of the bull market, which we are undeniably in right now, is the most significant for growth. It is. And it's unmatched by anything. And I don't know where the bull market's going to end. I thought it was going to be October. I was very much betting on October being the time that we topped off. I don't think it's going to be October now. I think it will be sometime in Q2. I'm thinking, March, April, May, somewhere in that time frame. Maybe sell in May, go away, range true. I'm going to go with April. If it is April, we go back 12 months. I mean, we haven't had a red month yet in this 12-month period. We should have 2 of them at some point. I would think that September stands to be a red month. Maybe, probably not August. December might be a red month. It's very possible. But very insignificant red months, right? I don't know. And maybe if we have 2 or 3, maybe it's January that's a red month instead, or February that's a red month. It doesn't have to be by the end of this year. I really don't know what else to say, you guys. We've got great things coming our way. Okay. And again, if the volume's worrying you, just look. The volume's been dying off every single cycle. It doesn't matter, right? I don't think that this is anything to be concerned with. I think we're just going to continue to grow, man. Absolutely, we will. I got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.